Executive sector buyers seeking a smarter approach have a more versatile option in the shape of Audi's 5-door A7 Sportback. Its high-tech combination of style and practicality should be a big draw for business buyers.
Executive cars used to be pretty set in their ways. If you wanted something Audi A6, Mercedes E-Class or BMW 5 Series sized, then you ended up with a straight-laced 4-door saloon, unless you were brave enough to face the wrath of the Green Lobby and order a luxury 4x4. But times change and conventions need challenging. In the smaller compact executive Mercedes C-Class and BMW 3 Series sector, Audi did exactly that back in 2009, being the first of the premium brands to offer a 5-door body style with their swoopy A4 saloon-based A5 Sportback. How might the full-sized A6 sector executive segment react to a similar approach? The Ingolstadt brand wondered. With this A7 Sportback, they'll find out. In this market segment, buyers are at least attuned to the option of something a bit different. After all, if you don't like the thought of a conventional Mercedes E-Class saloon, you can have a CLS, essentially the same car but with swoopy 4-door coupe styling. In the same way, if you don't like the thought of an ordinary BMW 5 Series saloon, you can have a differently packaged SUV style version of the same thing that BMW calls a 5 Series Gran Turismo. Now, this A7 Sportback takes the same kind of approach, based on the platform of a conventional A6 saloon, but offering business buyers something a bit more adventurous with 5 doors. It takes the best bits of its two most direct German premium rivals, so you get the style of a CLS and the versatility of a 5 Series GT. A winning combination? Let's find out. It doesn't take long behind the wheel to realise that the sport in Sportback is there for a reason. Yes, it can feel a little remote if you're driving lazily, but up your game and this A7 responds. It rides on a newly developed multi-link suspension system that enables Audi to offer a composed ride coupled with agile cornering ability. True, it never shrinks around you in the way that some big cars can manage, and the electrically assisted power steering can sometimes feel a little on the light side, but the chassis is keenly sharpened, offering enthusiastic drivers enough options to compensate. And you get Audi's clever Drive Select adaptive dynamics system, which offers comfort, auto and dynamic settings to enable you to alter the steering weighting, the transmission shift points and the throttle control. Under the bonnet, the range is based around V6 power. Given that over 90% of sales will be to diesel buyers, it's actually a surprise to find as many as 2 petrol options. A entry-level 204 PS 2.8 litre FSI unit, or a rip-snorting 300 PS 3 litre TFSI engine. That's the unit borrowed from Audi's S4 Sports Saloon and uses supercharging to sprint from rest to 60 in just 5.6 seconds, courtesy of 440 Newton meters of torque. Now, both these petrol models feature quattro 4-wheel drive, as does the diesel variant that I'm driving here, a 3-litre TDI quattro with 245 PS, capable of rest to 60 in 6.3 seconds, courtesy of 500 Newton meters of torque. There is, though, another diesel option, an entry-level 204 PS 3-litre TDI 2-wheel drive variant, though this model also forces you to do without the 7-speed S-tronic dual-clutch automatic gearbox with its lovely wheel-mounted paddle shifters that you find on other A7 variants, in favour of an older, less responsive 8-speed CVT auto transmission setup. I'd suggest that you try both diesel variants before deciding. It certainly seems a pity to experience A7 ownership without quattro technology. So equipped, you can simply turn into a corner, enjoy the driver-orientated 60/40 rearward torque bias, and keep your foot down as the various computers distribute torque around the chassis as needed. How sophisticated that process is depends on the various buttons you've ticked when specifying your car. the clever crown gear differential borrowed from Audi's RS5 Super Coupe that distributes torque between front and rear wheels as demanded by the grip available can be further refined by ticking the box for an optional sport differential that does much the same thing from side to side between the two rear wheels. Go for that particular option and you really do get a car capable of turning into corners like a shark turning towards a meal, giving you real confidence in the way that this car is going to turn in and grip, with each wheel getting exactly the right amount of torque for the condition of the road beneath you. With all of this kit fitted, this Audi becomes an instantly more engaging driver's car than its obvious rivals, and one that's a lot more fun to push hard than I expected it would be. But what's important with this model, of course, is not B-road blasting, but highway cruising. For an exemplary display here, there are no expensive options boxes to tick, unless of course you want to go the whole hog and specify laminated or double glazed glass to complement the acoustic windscreen that produces such a whisper quiet cabin in all A7s to complement the supple ride that you get, even if you choose to do without the optional air suspension. There's little doubt that this is a beautiful piece of design. Look at the way this single body crease line starts gently at the headlamp, then wraps around the wheel arch before progressing and becoming bolder and more defined as it finally reaches the aggressively chiseled rear end. The R8 style daytime LED running lights, the intricately finished door mirrors, the retracting headlamp washers and the wrap over aluminium bonnet are further neat touches. The interior is just as good, if not better, beautifully lit at night with trim that reminds you of a luxury yacht, so high is the quality achieved. All the switchgear feels reassuringly high-end too, and the controls have a polished, well-oiled action. It's a spacious cabin too, with almost enough room here at the rear to rival Audi's huge A8 saloon. Though in the case of this A7, you've got a back seat that's really only designed for a couple of people. Does that sloping rear roofline affect headroom? Well, yes, just a little, but unless you're over 6 foot, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. More of an issue I found was the way that the sloping roofline slightly restricts your rearward visibility when you're reversing. The colour rear parking camera that I've got here on this model is a must-have for that reason. Still, compensation for all this is delivered as soon as you raise the electrically assisted rear tailgate that rises to a custom set height to reveal a 535 litre load bay that's easily big enough to put in, say, 2 big golf bags side by side. If that's not enough, then you can push forward the split folding rear seats to reveal 1,390 litres of space. The A7 Sportback's pricing sees mainstream models tightly grouped in the £45,000 to £50,000 bracket, so it's well above the kind of money you'd pay for the A6 saloon upon which it's based. More than a 5 Series Gran Turismo too, though if you choose to add four-wheel drive to that model to match this Audi's Quattro system, then the differences between the two cars are pretty marginal. Both significantly undercut the Mercedes CLS, which is two-wheel drive only and less versatile, and that's the only other real option for executive sector buyers looking for something a little bit different. The diesel decision facing most A7 Sportback customers will be whether to pay the £4,000 premium that Audi demands for the 245 PS 3-litre TDI Quattro model that I've been driving here, or go for the 204 PS 3-litre TDI two-wheel drive entry-level version. Now, whichever A7 Sportback model you choose, 2 or 4-wheel drive 3-litre TDI diesels, or either of the 2.8 or 3-litre petrol models, and each variant offers a choice of either standard or firmer S-line suspension, then there's a substantial equipment haul to match the substantial prices being asked. So with all models you get xenon headlamps, an electrically assisted tailgate, full leather trim, electrically operated and heated seats, cruise control, Bluetooth compatibility, satellite navigation, and an iPod compatible CD audio system with a DAB digital radio built in. You also get an MMI multimedia interface system with a retractable 6.5-inch screen, which you can optionally upgrade to an 8-inch screen that comes with a clever touch control pad upon which you can trace commands with your fingers. And of course, the wider options list is jaw-dropping. Tick the right boxes and your car can be a Wi-Fi zone or enjoy a connection to Google Maps. It can park itself, stop you from changing lanes if there's someone in your blind spot, offer night vision, flag up dozy pedestrians wandering into your path on a head-up display, even alter its headlight pattern to illuminate crossroads as you pass. Safety-wise, there are the usual 6 airbags, plus all the normal electronic stability, traction and braking systems. Running costs for this A7 will be aided by its sleek sportback shape, which has low aerodynamic drag. Plus there are lightweight aluminium parts that mean that this car is about 15% lighter than conventional steel-bodied rivals. Whirring away behind the scenes to improve efficiency are brake energy recuperation and start-stop technologies that cut the engine when you're in heavy traffic or at the lights. And the optional upgraded satellite navigation system can even help improve efficiency by warning the gearbox ahead of sharp corners to avoid unnecessary down changes. Now, it's technology like this that's brought Audi to the point where it offers more models with less than 140 grams per kilometre CO2 readings than any other premium brand. Indeed, this A7 range can furnish one of them. The entry-level two-wheel drive 3-litre TDI diesel model manages 139 grams per kilometre of CO2 and 53.3 miles to the gallon on the combined cycle. But what about the variant that will account for the most sales, the one I'm driving here, the Quattro 3-litre TDI with 245 PS? Well, that manages 47.1 miles to the gallon on the combined cycle, which is 10% better than you get in an equivalent BMW 5 Series GT 530D, and 20% better than you get in a comparable Mercedes CLS 350 CDI. The days when upmarket cars with hatchbacks just didn't sell are long forgotten, thanks to Audi and its range of various sportback models. This A7 is the best looking of the lot. Its imperious sweeping curves, clothing, all the qualities that make the brand's more established A6 and A8 ranges so successful. Effortlessly elegant design, advanced petrol and diesel engines, and the option of Quattro four-wheel drive. This then is yet another very carefully crafted Audi. With direct rivals that force you to choose between style and versatility, this A7 Sportback delivers both in one elegant package. It's hardly inexpensive, of course, and you'll need to spend plenty on the options list to fully sharpen its driving manners, but if that's not an issue and the 4-seat configuration is sufficient, then you'll likely find this car very desirable indeed. Not all executive decisions should be difficult to make. Here's one that gives you a few more options.